My parents don't care that they make my sister and me very uncomfortable with the amount of PDA they do with their swinger friends. We're supposed to go on a family vacation soon, but the friends are invited, and now I don't want to go. Posted by you/relative young 9037. This post will probably be long, and I'll try not to ramble too much. I hope that this post is easy to follow, but I'm not sure how to handle the situation at hand, so I need advice. For context, my parents are swingers. I found out about them being swingers right after I graduated high school in 2016. I've never really had an opinion on the matter until recently. I don't care what they do behind closed doors, but I personally don't want to see it in person. I'm sure that makes me sound like a bad person, but I've always accepted them for who they are. It's honestly just really weird to see my parents make out with other people when they're around a group of people. Anyways, they are in a relationship with another couple and have been with them for almost 2 years. They, the other couple, just recently moved in with my parents because they lost their house and couldn't find another place in time. My parents kicked my sister, her fiancé, and their baby out of the basement in order to give their friends the space and put my sister, her fiancé, and baby upstairs in one bedroom to share, which is a small 12 by 12 room. The friends have also stated that they're another set of grandparents for my niece and call themselves Grandma T and Papa D. My sister and her fiancé are not comfortable with this, but my parents and their friends don't seem to care because they are all together as one. Now, onto the vacation. We were supposed to go on our first ever family vacation last year, October 2021, but it ended up getting pushed back to April of this year due to costs and because of my wedding, which everyone was fine with. It then got pushed back again because my sister was in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy and couldn't fly. It is now scheduled for February of 2023. My parents told my sister and me, along with our significant others, that they would be bringing their friends along on the vacation. And I'm frustrated about it, to be honest. With the way they've been handling things with my sister and with all of their PDA, it's made me not want to go anymore. It's our first ever family vacation, like I've already mentioned, and I wanted it to be just family. I'm at a loss, and I'm not sure how to handle the situation. We don't want to upset our parents about how I, and everyone else, my husband, sister, and brother-in-law, feel. Any advice? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Your parents sound incredibly demanding and childish. I wouldn't go at all, point blank. Tell them. Your parents strike me as the type of people who do crappy things, don't care about how anyone else feels, and cover it all by saying nonsense like, I'm just living my best life. This is bizarre on so many levels. Ops response. It's so bizarre. I truly love my parents, and I know it would hurt them if I told them I'm not going. But it makes me so uncomfortable on so many levels to see them do things with another person. I think I'm just going to talk to them, and if they decide they're still taking them, I'll tell them I'm not going. Thank you for your comment. Commenter 2. Honestly, from what you said in the original post, the part you seem most uncomfortable with is their priorities. They've prioritized sexual partners over their own kids. It's the equivalent of having something akin to step-parents, if you break it down. They have inserted themselves into your lives, annexed faces from the children, and then pretend like everything's fine while downright ignoring any external feedback to the contrary. The fact that they view themselves as grandparents to your sister's child is disturbing and shows a complete lack of personal boundaries. Your parents and this couple are divorced from reality to the point that they prioritized a couple who needed space over their daughter, her partner, and a child. That's screwed up, and you have every right not to be comfortable with the situation. If I were you, I would not only skip this gathering but also make it clear that their behavior is not okay. Who they choose as sexual partners is one thing, but who gets to be part of the family is something entirely different, and it requires everyone's involvement, not just theirs. Ops response. Thank you for validating my feelings on the subject. I'm going to talk to my parents this weekend and let them know how I've been feeling. Op adds an edit to her post. I'm married and do not live at home anymore. Although my sister, her fiancé, and baby do. They're currently looking for places. We live in a state where the cost of living is super high, like a lot of places right now, and with them only having one income, it's harder for them to find something. Hopefully that clears things up. Op adds a second edit to her post. I didn't expect this to get as much attention as it did. I have read each comment and taken the advice, so thank you. I'm fully aware that my parents are adults and can do what they want. I never once said that they couldn't. And I never said I was against their relationship with this other couple. They refer to themselves as swingers, but yes, you could say they are in a polyamorous relationship. The issue I have is how they shove it down everyone's throats. I don't care what they do in private, behind closed doors. But once I see the PDA and the other things they do to each other when other people are around, that's where I get uncomfortable with the situation. They have a calendar on the fridge that says what nights they will swap beds and sleep with the other person. For example, my mom and the other woman move between my dad and the other guy. There are also times when they make sexual jokes about screwing each other or randomly flash each other when we are around. Like, at least wait until people aren't there to do those things. That's the part I'm not okay with. Update 1 month later. Hi everyone. A few weeks ago, I made a post about my parents inviting their friends on a family vacation and said I'd give an update after I talked to my parents. Well, I did, and it didn't go well. Also, sorry the update took so long. I've been struggling with the outcome really badly and needed time to write it all out. So, onto the update. I brought up all of my feelings to my parents, and they weren't very happy. They asked why I never brought it up, and I told them it was because I was fine with everything until I started seeing it, and that's when it made me uncomfortable. Now they think I don't accept them for who they are, and they don't really see an issue with inviting their friends or doing other things with their friends in front of everyone else. My mom basically said that what they do is none of my business, or anyone else's, and they can do what they want. Which is true, they're adults and can do what they want. But some of the things they do should be in private settings and not for others to see. They also consider their girlfriend and boyfriend to be family, which again is fine. I know many people do, and since it's a family vacation, they're still inviting them regardless of how everyone feels about it. I just want to be with my parents for once without their friends being there and having them be all over each other. They also see no issue with their friends calling themselves grandparents to my niece. I got upset and told them my husband and I would not be attending the vacation and that they could take someone else. And until they understand where I'm coming from, I will not be going around. So, for the time being, my parents are being cut off. I'm very sad about the outcome, and it makes me sad that they would choose their friends over their own child. But to each their own, I guess. Thank you all for the comments. I read every single one of them. Even if I didn't comment back, I still read them. There were some very nice, supportive ones that really helped, and also some not very nice ones that also helped. So thank you all. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm sorry about that. Did your siblings ever back you up? Ops response. Yes, my sister agrees with me. I'm not sure if she's planning on going or not, so if she doesn't, we might go on our own little vacation. Second update 2 years 2 months later. I cut my parents out of my life, and now my dad might be dying. I don't know what to do. Hi everyone. I, 27F, just came here for advice, maybe? I don't really know. I just needed a place to talk about this. There's a ton of backstory, so I'll try to explain it as best I can, and hopefully it doesn't get too confusing. I also have another post regarding the subject from a couple of years ago, so maybe this is also kind of an update post. My parents are in an open/polyamorous marriage. They started out as swingers when I was 7, and a few years ago, they met another couple and decided to just be with them, which is fine. I'm happy that they're happy. However, when the other couple, we'll call them Dan and Tina, came into my parents' lives, my parents changed. They became very toxic, controlling, and just all around not fun to be around. They don't take anyone's feelings into consideration and force their other partners into our lives. Over the last couple of years, I've decided I don't want to be around Dan and Tina. On multiple occasions, they were all inappropriate in front of us, my sister and her family, and my husband and me, and it was just really uncomfortable in a lot of ways. They, my parents, kicked my sister and her family out of their basement apartment and moved them to a small bedroom upstairs in their house so they could move their other partners in. My niece was also only 2 months old at this time. From there, things have just gotten worse. Dan and Tina refer to themselves as my second parents and as grandparents to my son and my niece, which I have asked them not to do since I barely know them. My parents have chosen their other partners over my sister and her family, and over me and my family, many times. Last year, my sister had to move emergently and asked my mom if she could watch my niece since it was raining/snowing outside. My mom said no because they were going to spend the night playing Mario Kart and didn't want distractions. When I told them I was pregnant, the very first thing my dad said to me was, "Can we tell Dan and Tina?" And I said no. After my son was born, I went to my parents' house for a short 30-minute visit, and as soon as I got there, my dad texted Dan to tell him I was there. So he and Tina came upstairs. My mom was holding my baby, 8 weeks at the time, and when Dan and Tina came up, she handed my son to Tina without asking me. I was so upset. I want to clarify, I would have been upset if anyone just handed my baby to someone without asking me. I wasn't upset just because of the person. You should never hold a baby without permission from the parent. I had a very intimate religious ceremony, similar to a christening, where we only wanted family and our close friends. I invited my parents, and they asked if they could bring Dan and Tina. I said no because it was for family and close friends. So they decided not to come. They chose not to come to a family event because I didn't want their other partners there, whom they consider family and I do not, which I have clearly tried telling them over years of them being with Dan and Tina. Because this event was for my son, I decided they weren't going to pull any more stunts. They weren't going to choose them over me and my family anymore. So I cut them out. I told them that I'm happy they're happy and, because I know they love them, I wasn't going to make them choose between us. I told them I was done being heard and I needed time away from them. I haven't seen or spoken to my parents since April of 2024. I have tried telling my parents about my boundaries many times, but they don't listen. They just want us all to be one big happy family, which my sister and I and our partners don't want. We both just want to be around our parents. Anyway, I got a text from my mom yesterday saying my dad was just diagnosed with heart failure. And I have so many emotions. I'm angry, and I'm also sad. My heart hurts. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants a better relationship with my parents, as long as my boundaries are followed. But another part of me has never been happier or felt more at peace these last 9 months. I just don't want to have my dad pass and regret not letting him have a relationship with me or my son. I just hate getting hurt by my parents all the time. I am in therapy and have been working through everything for a while, but it's still so hard. Any advice is appreciated, and I will try to answer any questions anyone has. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I'm sorry if it's confusing. /relevant comments. Commenter. This is something you need to decide. They are only reaching out because of his condition, not because they want to be better parents. They already chose Dan and Tina over your son. Your son doesn't need to see them. You can go alone and see what is really going on. They want to guilt you into forgiving them. They haven't tried to apologize. Ops response. That's how I feel. I feel like they're pressuring me to see them when I'm not ready. My mom texted me a couple of months back saying, "How long are you going to stay away from us? Are we still toxic?" And I feel like they're blaming me for not seeing them when I've voiced my boundaries countless times and they chose to ignore them. I know it's not on me, but they're making me feel like crap because I want to protect myself and my son from being hurt. Op gives examples of how they were inappropriate over the years. Examples of being inappropriate include them flashing each other in front of us, my dad pulling down his pants and mooning the front door when I walked in because he thought it was his girlfriend, and other inappropriate actions that shouldn't be done in front of other people, especially your children and their spouses. Tina's partner, Dan, would put his hand on my back, and I would ask not to be touched. I get very uncomfortable because of some essay from my childhood, so I don't like being touched by many people. But still, he would do it every time I saw them. I have tried many times to voice my boundaries, and they have not been respected. If these inappropriate behaviors stopped, I wouldn't mind seeing them along with my parents, but I shouldn't have to if I'm uncomfortable. The boundaries I have voiced, I don't want them calling themselves my second parents or grandparents to my child. I don't want to see all of their inappropriate PDA. I'm fine with a kiss, but the inappropriate stuff can wait until people aren't visiting. I don't consider them family, just as my parents don't consider any of my friends family. Commenter 2. You'll never have the relationship you want with your parents, as it's clear they are selfish and will always include their partners. Don't feel guilty, they have never put you first. Ops response. Thank you. I needed to hear don't feel guilty. This whole situation has taken a toll on me for years. I've just learned I need to do what's best for me and my little family.